The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of The Loft. My name is Kathy Bailey-Smith, along with our wonderful co-hosts, Amber Logue and Andrea Sebastian, and we have a fun show scheduled for today. We have a wonderful photographer, a local photographer, who will be joining us for Hot Topics also, and then we're going to talk about Kristin's business a little bit, but Kristin Hardwick is with us today, and she's going to sit in all the girl time as we discuss some fun things before we talk about your fun and interesting business. Yes. So, ladies, what's moving? What's shaking?
I don't know. It sounds like you had the most fun recently.
I did. Yeah,
Tell us.
I saw some pictures, so fill us in.
I know. I kind of did. I did a very last-minute solo trip to Vermont. And
okay, let me just ask.
Yes.
How did Thelma and Louise feel? We've never really discussed whether you're Thelma or Louise, so I don't know who to call you. But you didn't have your partner in crime, so what happened?
I know. It's kind of well, I had my kids over the weekend, and then she does have a job.
Oh.
I mean, I do too, but you know what I'm saying. So that got in the way a little bit. So I had to take a little solo trip. But so I decided. I said, you know what? I've always wanted to go to falconry school, and which is kind of interesting and cool. And then
birds?
Yes.
Giant.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
And then I took a shooting class at Orvis Shooting School. So I went up to Vermont for 2 days. I stayed at the Equinox, which is this gorgeous inn in Manchester. And it was fabulous. I went to the falconry program, and you basically drive up to this little dirt road, and you meet this cute little English gentleman who is absolutely adorable, and he's been doing this for 30 years. And so it's just really interesting. I mean, I've always been fascinated with birds, and I never expected to have one so close to my face. And so I got to meet an English eagle, and the one that I had was, I can't remember his name now. Oh, that poor thing. I can't remember his name, but I had a falcon was the one that I worked with. So he walks out and he introduces you to all the birds, and you get to see them.
This is my personal nightmare.
Right.
You're so brave.
They're in cages, and they start to kind of get excited, and they start making noises because they know that one of them gets to come out. The most interesting piece, though, that I found was the most interesting piece was that there's no emotional attachment. He's had some of these birds for 30 years, and they see him as a way to get food. There's no emotional attachment whatsoever. Yeah,
wow.
Because they're wild, and that's so. He's like a means to an end. You know what I mean?
How did you decide that? How did you find it? How did you decide that's what you were going to do on your random week off?
Well, because I just thought it sounded really cool. I'm like an adventurer, so I always like to do different things, and I have this mentality you know what, you only get to live once, and just do stuff, do interesting things. And so I was I've always been interested in birds, so I said it would be kind of cool to have this, this thing.
So you just Googled it? You just looked it up?
And there's a falconry school, and they're associated with the Equinox Hotel, and so I met my bird. My falcon. And so the whole thing is based on food, him wanting food, because if I didn't have food, he might want to hunt, but he knows. So as soon as you put the gloved hand up, he knows to come landing on your arm, and it's very soft and gentle. It's not crazy or anything. And then the falconer, I guess, puts the food right here, it's a raw piece of meat. It was what kind of meat was it? I'm trying to remember what it was, quail or something, and puts it here, and then the bird takes it, and then he sits.
You're feeding the bird other bird?
Well, yeah, sometimes it's bird, sometimes it's venison, sometimes...
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
But it's interesting.
I don't know anything about birds. This might be normal.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. He said that they can spot a mouse from a quarter mile away. I mean, that's,
Crazy.
you know, you
That
talk
poor
about
mouse.
the hawk's eye view or, you know, the
Wow.
eagle eyes or whatever they say, because there's truth to that. So
When you were holding him or her
Yeah.
or whatever, did
Him.
it open like the wingspan and you were able to see how?
I mean, his wasn't as large, but he did open his wingspan, and then he'd fly to a tree, and then they teach them to kind of follow you, and that's a way of training them. You know what I mean? To kind of follow you around from tree to tree to tree.
Well, I think they're really trainable. Has anyone ever done the Renaissance Festival?
With the pigeons, is that what you're
Well,
talking about?
and they had birds
Yeah.
and stuff, and they would like, the guy would stand on the stage and like these big hawks would come out of nowhere and they would like fly right over the audience and it was
Oh.
insane. So it's
Slightly terrifying.
yeah, well, especially
No.
if you're scared of birds.
bird fear?
I wouldn't
Phobia?
say a phobia. So we have 3 dogs, but we have a really small dog. We have a miniature dachshund, and if we have her out in the woods, like on a hike, or even sometimes just in our backyard, like birds do hunt her. Like we
Yeah.
have to like actually watch her to make sure that she doesn't
Right.
get picked up.
Right.
So I'm not a huge fan of birds. I think
Really?
they're
I owned
kind
a
of-
bird.
You did?
Yeah,
Like
a
a parrot
cockatiel.
or a cockatiel?
You owned a bird?
Yeah.
And they sing? They sing or
Yeah,
no?
yeah. Used
Are
to
they
actually,
fun, or are they
honest
just
to
like-
goodness, that bird used to dance to Celine Dion.
To Celine Dion.
to Celine Dion. No,
It's a bird thing.
It was
Oh,
interesting.
gosh.
I mean, our dog, we had a little dog also that really always like interrogated, like it really bothered it all the time. And so I would just finish vacuuming under, because they're messy. They're not
Yeah.
like the cleanest thing to have in the house and stuff. And the minute that, vacuum finished, my dog would bark at it. The bird would like
Make a
fly,
mess.
Oh my gosh.
mess everywhere. I was like, oh my goodness. But some, one of my children wanted a bird, so
And that's what you
I
got.
always wanted one. I've always wanted
So
a
tell
bird.
us about shooting. Are you a
Okay.
sharpshooter now?
No, but I did very, very well.
Kathy the
but-
sniper.
I know. It was really interesting. I was actually very, very nervous because I come from a hunting family. My dad's from Maine, out in wherever.
Was it your
so-
first time?
I had done it as a
Okay.
kid, but not since. So I was very nervous. And Orvis is like a big outdoors, so they have like
Yeah.
fly fishing school, which I might try next year. And then they do
do?
like. Yes, they do. They have a
That would
fly
be such a
fishing.
good gift for my husband.
Oh yeah,
That'd be
you should look
really
into
good.
it. It's beautiful up
love.
there. You can go to the spa while he's in school or whatever. But they
go by
do
himself.
the shooting school, and so
Yeah. Goodbye.
You take your boys.
so they pick you up at the hotel, and then because at first it was kind of like when I went to the Falcon place, I drove. So this one, I was a little like, the concierge says they'll pick you up at the hotel. I'm like, where are they taking me? And the shooting. But you go to actually, the owner, the CEO, his property is right there. And he has a beautiful piece of property, and it's up and behind the house and whatever. And there's, property up there. So I was really nervous. I fired a Beretta 28 barrel, I think is what it was called. But so they give you these ear things, and I was shaking. I was like really nervous, and it's all clay pigeons and stuff. But I did a really good job.
Yeah.
So I was
Got all
kind
your
of excited.
aggregations out,
Representing.
huh?
Yeah, but it's an art. Believe it or not, I can understand why people enjoy it, because it is an art. Like you open the barrel and you put in the bullet, and then you close the barrel, and then so then you kind of get in your position, and then you remove the safety and put your finger on the it's like an art. The way it's I don't know. That's how I found it, and that's how it's a process. So it's kind of being in, like doing a yoga, but doing it with a gun.
It's a gun meditation. Yeah. Perfect.
I don't know, but that's how I equated it. I loved it. It was so fun. And after I got the first few shots out, it was okay. I was okay. And then I got to do double shots. So it was really kind of fun. I had a great time.
Good.
So
You go again?
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I am not a hunter, will not hunt anything. But I really enjoyed the process of it and doing things I've never done. So
For you.
Good for girls'
That's fun.
weekend.
yeah, by yourself.
By yourself. I love that you
Solo
I
trip.
love that you went on a trip by yourself. Like I feel like nobody does that. Nobody like takes the effort. Like what good mind space to just be by yourself for a weekend.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was good for me. I kind of,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have done that like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I'm in a place where I can, I think it's kind of fun.
So what's next?
Yeah, it was just.
I don't know. I guess I have to put more.
Fly fishing.
Fly fishing. Well, you know.
Skydiving?
I know. No skydiving.
Really?
No.
Really?
No. You would do skydiving?
I've been.
Oh.
I've been skydiving.
I'm afraid of heights.
It wasn't, you don't even, I can't explain. It's not scary.
Yeah.
You don't have time to be scared. You don't have time to think.
Would you
It's
skydive?
just go. And you're free falling. You don't feel like you're falling. You actually feel more like you're floating than anything.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's
I don't
really
know,
fun.
Amber.
It's fun.
I don't think it's
I think it would be just, you do the tandem, so you
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
get out of the plane.
That would be the
I would
hardest
have
thing.
a very, very hard time going up and going, okay, the door's open, and now you're going out. I don't know. I think that would be the worst part. I don't think the coming down would be so
coming down's
horrible.
beautiful.
But the actual
Because once you're out of the plane,
Yeah,
you
that's
have no
it.
choice.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're coming down. You have no
You're
control.
committed.
Yep.
yeah, you have to
Yeah.
hope that
Up until that
whoever's
point,
holding
like-
you knows what they're doing. And, I don't know.
I don't know. That's way out of my adventure zone. Like I did zip lining. I liked that. That I found fun.
I think that would be even more terrifying, though, in the sense where
Yep.
you're not floating. Like
Yeah.
you're literally
No.
careening down on a wire.
No, I didn't. I was nervous beforehand,
Yeah.
and I'm afraid of heights. But no, I could never jump out of a plane. There's just no way. Wouldn't happen. Heart attack.
See, I couldn't bungee jump.
No.
I could do anything else except for bungee jump.
But no, bungee jumping sounds like the worst.
It does. I know. Horrible.
Who does that? I mean, I know people do it.
People do.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
There's people that do it professionally, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Well, I
me.
think they're like you either have a daredevil
You have that
type
adrenaline
streak. Like I don't
junkie.
like roller coasters. Do you guys like roller coasters? I
I'll
hate
do
them.
roller coasters.
So I
Do you?
actually do, but then I get in them, and as soon as I'm strapped in, I have a panic attack every single time.
Yeah, but then you're fine during the whole.
Yeah, once
usually
it's
the
after
once-
it's after
yeah,
the first
yeah.
drop. Then
And do you look? Do you watch? Or do you close your eyes?
No,
See,
yeah, I watch.
Well, see, I couldn't watch. How about you? Roller coasters, yay or nay?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't been on one in so long, and I think that, I don't know, my equilibrium's off because now I go on, I'm like, whoa, I'm so dizzy, I'm gonna fall over and get
Yeah.
sick. Whereas before, I was like, yeah, 20 times, let's go. No, I can't do it.
Not so much. now.
No.
Yeah.
I'd rather, though,
But I'll eat
jump
the
out
cotton
of a
candy,
plane
you know?
than, like scuba dive or do
Yeah.
underwater things.
So you know what's
Same.
interesting
I
is
think. I don't know.
so I was always like I have kind of like a more of a phobia of like the ocean than any, like I will not be going on a cruise or period. Just not doing it.
Or hanging out with birds.
Or birds on the ocean, oh my God.
Forget that.
I'm sorry. I just saw like laser darts coming out.
not funny. But so on our honeymoon, we went to Mexico and we went scuba diving, and I thought I would be like really like claustrophobic or
Yeah.
something. No, like we got certified in the pool, so we could go do an open water dive, and the pool was way harder. Like once you're actually in the water, there was so much to look at, and you're just doing stuff, so you don't think about being afraid. I
Right.
loved scuba diving. I would totally do it again.
Yeah, I snorkel all the time, but I don't know, like scuba diving and seeing something like really big coming at me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that
fish
was
with,
like-
the
we saw,
flashlight
like-
heads. These are so cool, but I wouldn't want to see one.
Even like there was like things that they were like, oh, if you see this, don't touch it, it'll hurt you, and it wasn't scary. Like,
Oh
great.
my gosh. Well, listen,
Big
ladies,
sharks.
hold that thought though, because we got to take a little break, and we'll be back. But in the break, you get to enjoy some of Kristin's photography. So enjoy, and we'll be back in a moment. welcome back to the Loft. And if you're just joining us, we're chatting with Kristin Hardwick, who is a photographer here, and I hope you enjoyed her photos. Kristin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to learn more about you and what you specialize in, and then I have specific questions for you. So if you could just get started and tell us a little bit about your background and your specialty.
Yes, I've been shooting for 5 years now. And I specialize in portraits and small business photography. So what that means is I photograph women, occasionally families, headshots, and then I work with a lot of local small businesses to do either staff photos, product photos, help them put together lookbooks, things that help them reach their target client.
And so it sounds like working with women is one of your interests?
That's really one of my specialties. I love working with women. Everybody says, oh, I look terrible on camera.
Yeah.
I'm not photogenic. And I really take pride in making sure that every woman has a great photo of herself that she loves.
Oh, and do you have like one specific memory of the time that you've been doing this with one particular person where you really transformed their initial viewpoint of how they felt about themselves to what they saw afterwards, I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
I think one of my favorite sessions ever is I will not mention her name because she asked me not to share her photos, but she was a woman who came in to do a shoot for her 40th birthday. She was pictures for her husband, but really it was a great transformative event for her when she saw the final product. She felt like she was looking older and letting go of herself, et cetera, and she just was absolutely wowed by how beautiful and feminine and sexy she still looked. So that was really a big confidence boost for her, which is what I love doing.
In South Carolina, and everybody there called them boudoir
Yep.
pictures. Is
Boudoir.
that what we call them here
Yes,
too?
yep,
Okay.
boudoir sessions. Yes, I do, and which I do
thought
do.
It was really funny because I wasn't really familiar with the term, and then all of a
yes.
sudden, like, one of my girlfriends, like, I got my boudoir pictures back. You want to see them? And I'm like, no, I think I'm really good. Like, I don't need to see them, but glad you're happy with them.
No,
But I just thought that was a really interesting, and like it seems to go in waves.
Yeah.
Where like people do it, and then it's like you don't hear about it for a while, and then it comes back again.
When do women get
Boudoir.
Yeah.
So traditionally, I mean, I see a lot of women do it as engagement picture. Like he gave you a ring, you give him photos, that sort of thing, as a wedding gift. Or, but then I also have women, who are divorced and just want to feel good about themselves and do it for themselves. I have people who hit a certain milestone, and like that client who was turning 40 and wanted pictures, or moms that have had their babies and their bodies are different and they just need to kind of find a new way to see themselves and love the new body that they have. So it could be anything like that. It could be just my husband's birthday's coming up or our 10th anniversary. It's whatever. A lot of women will use I don't want to say excuse, but the reason as a gift for their husband, fiance, significant other, but I think it's so much more for themselves and the way that you see yourself and your self-confidence and
I can see that.
we're so hard on ourselves that like having beautiful pictures, and I really push for everybody to have a framed portrait of themselves in their bedroom, because if they're boudoir or not, like if you have a professional photo where you look great and you feel great about yourself, seeing that every single day is so powerful, when every single day we're looking in the mirror and berating ourselves and cutting ourselves down. And I just think having a nice positive reminder daily is so important for us.
Oh,
So,
that's a nice message.
I'm a big fan of
Absolutely.
printing your work and printing photos of yourself. It's not vain. It's kind of building yourself up and
So do you take selfies then?
I do take selfies. Which my 3-year-old, as much as I would like to say I don't, my 3-year-old grabs my phone and is like, "Mom, let's take a selfie," enough that I could never deny it. 3-year-olds.
No, because I know people who love being behind the camera and people who love being in
Yes.
front of the camera. And I have a child who loves taking pictures.
Yes.
And for a long time in his life, I don't really have any pictures
Because
of
he
him
was behind.
because he was always
Yeah.
taking the picture. And he's actually dating someone who is actually a photographer as well. And it's great. I thank her all the time because she captures him constantly. And I'm so grateful that they have that,
So this is a really interesting point that you're bringing up, though. So you love him and you want him to exist in photos. for all the moms out there that have cameras that never get your picture taken because you hate the way you look in photos, you need to exist in photos.
Oh, absolutely.
For your children, for your family, whether
Right.
whether you want to be in them or not in 10 pounds, not.
Right.
You need to exist in them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that reminds me, like looking back at childhood photos, trying to find like, some ones of my mom when I was younger, or trying to look and like, oh, do we look alike? I don't have any of those because of exactly what you said. My hair wasn't right. Oh, I didn't get dressed today. Oh, I did whatever the excuses.
this.
Yeah, right.
Or
It's
like
one of these.
you're in the background showing cake in your face.
Right.
Birthday party. You're not.
Right. So
be
it is
deliberate.
important. It is
Yeah.
very important for kids to have those, because it's so nice as they get older to be like, oh wow, this is what my mom looked like or my dad looked like when they were my age now.
Yes.
So
And
it is.
And
it
in
is
such
very
a
important.
digital age, I think that we kind of downplay the importance because we take more photos in a day than our parents took in a year. But it's also we also delete them and we don't do anything with them, or they're on your phone. But like if you need to print them out, you need to preserve them so that your kids have them, so you have them. When I'm 80, I will have these pictures that I took from my husband when I was 20, and I look great. You know what I mean? Like those will be awesome when I'm 80. It's really important.
What do you think makes a great picture? Like, I guess, what are the elements that you need to bring together to create that special moment?
I mean, there's definitely like the technical side. Well lit, natural.
Right.
Natural light is more flattering and kind of softens wrinkles and pores and all that. Posing is a big part, a big specialty. But none of that is what makes a great picture. What makes a great picture is really the connection, the expression, and pulling that out of a client is kind of a skill. Pulling the expression out of the eyes, the smile, something that happens a lot naturally in family photos. Candids. When somebody's looking at somebody they love or laughing, that sort of thing, which is a little bit more difficult in the studio, but can definitely be achieved.
So we're coming up on holiday. So everybody, there's so many photos, whether you're in front of the camera or behind the camera.
Yes.
Can you give us some pointers of how we can properly pose ourselves for all of these soon-to-be photos, whether we're stuffing our face or not?
Stuffing your face or not.
Put the wine glass down.
Put the wine glass down. Wine glass. You know what? If you're gonna hold the wine glass, just hold it over here.
Right, or behind.
Every picture.
I would say, there's definitely some tips. You don't want anyone to take your picture while you're eating. It's never flattering. If you're taking pictures of people, don't do it while they're eating. It's not nice. You always want to be aware that whatever's closest to the camera looks bigger. So if you're sitting back with your stomach out, that's going to look bigger.
No wonder those pictures, like sometimes I feel like I'm like seriously.
Everybody,
like,
if you're slouching in a chair, everybody has rolls. I don't care if you're size 0 or size 20. It's just not flattering. I always like to have clients pull their arms away from the body, because if your arms are like this, you're visually increasing your mass. It's a little space here.
So that's why everyone's like,
Everyone's like this. Even if you're not like super, like sitting like this is more flattering than like this.
Gotcha.
I always like to push butts back away from the camera because it helps create a little bit more of a waistline.
Yeah.
Oh, and chin out. Nobody likes the double chin.
Oh, yes.
Doesn't it, now we all do it, it feels kind of awkward, but it looks better in a photo?
It looks better in a photo.
Okay.
So does it look weird now?
No.
No, you look beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm practicing.
Turtle.
Just practicing.
It's so funny. Posing is, and I mean, Amber's been subjected to this many times. Anytime I have a new idea, I'm like, hey, come to the studio. But it's posing like really for long times, like holding your muscles a certain way. It's like it's Pilates.
Tiring.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, we don't think of that.
No.
We think of it as this effortless.
Yeah, the models have it so easy.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So maybe
I
their
mean,
work is hard. I don't know. Maybe Giselle really works hard for
Maybe
herself.
she
works really hard for that money.
earns her keep.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And one thing that you mentioned to me, and I thought this was really funny, because you said we squint when we smile,
Everybody.
which we do. And then so I was thinking about that, and then I'm like, you like crazy eyes. So how do we balance?
How do you balance?
Chin out, turtle, and big
It's
eye.
so
And
funny.
I promise it'll be a good picture.
If you say so, crazy lady.
You look marvelous.
You look good. That's natural, very natural. It's just a balance. You have to kind of. think this is from like America's Next Top Models where this originated, but smile with your eyes, smize. If you think about that, like it sounds kind of difficult. You're like, what am I doing? Yeah. But it's just kind of relaxing your eye muscles a little bit.
Do you ever, I mean, this is going to sound really ugly, but I've seen this and I think it's hysterical and I don't understand why it happens, is that like you see someone and you're like, oh, okay, like you're cute or whatever. The pictures come back and they're like beautiful. And you're like, you don't, I don't know, like you don't, like you hear the same where someone will say, you look much better live than in pictures. And it's like, have you come across a lot of the vice versa?
The vice versa? Yeah, some people actually just really photograph well.
Yeah.
They're really
photogenic.
It's crazy.
I guess.
there's certainly those people that have that just naturally, and it's no work at all to pull it out of them. And then there's some people that are beautiful in person, but the second you pick up a camera, they get tense and they, they get kind of like awkward.
Yeah.
So you have to, coach them through that a little bit more.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You also mentioned, I mean, we've talked a lot about the women portrait side of it, but you also do talk about the business side. What do you offer? What is a lookbook? We don't know what a lookbook is.
So a lookbook, so say you have a new clothing line coming out and you have 12 different pieces. We would want to put together a lookbook that you can use for social media, online marketing, or even just your website of the different images. And it's not just photographing shirt and pants laying on a table. It's styling it and being specific in the message that you're trying to send in the image. So different brands do this. We were talking before the show about Anthropology, which styles a shirt and pants one way, whereas Gap would style it completely different. So it's all about who your target client is and the message that you're trying to send and the brand image that you're creating. So you have to be specific and thought out. And a lot of the work that I do with clients about that actually is not just the taking of the pictures, but actually the work we do beforehand to kind of narrow down who they're trying to reach, the image, the message that they're trying to create, so we can put that together. So, I mean, we can do that for not just clothing, but product aesthetics, with, different lotions, product, pretty much whatever you have.
Right.
Market,
Yep.
yeah.
Whatever product. So.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like you don't realize that there's so much more to just taking. You just think we pick up our iPhones
And
we're
it's
like,
a pretty picture, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said for product photography, just shooting a bottle of shampoo on a white backdrop, and that's necessary as well. But what we do is a little bit more stylized.
And it's interesting too, because when you think about it, how many commercials actually now, not necessarily still pictures, but on TV in that white backgrounds, and it's the person or whatever the product is that's selling, and it's kind of like, that's kind of new.
Yes,
That's never really happened before, yet it sends a real powerful message.
There's definitely more of a trend moving towards, taking this coffee cup, and the coffee cup is what we're selling, but then we need to style it on a desk of the busy entrepreneur who has it all, perfect style and the perfect accessories, et cetera.
wow.
So
None of our desks look like that, let's just be real.
I know, right?
I have this much of my desk that does pour shots. The rest, all the mess is just over here.
So what's easier, children or animals?
Neither.
Kids with their dogs.
Kids with their dogs. Kids with their dogs are actually a lot easier because they interact.
Right.
I love dogs. I'm a dog person. They are so hard to photograph. Dogs don't listen to me. My dogs don't listen to me.
To get that moment, you know what I mean? Because it's gone. It's here and gone.
Well,
so
they're
quickly.
like, they just,
They're so excited.
they're so
moving.
excited. I mean,
Yeah.
some dogs are really good, but no, I would take children over dogs.
My dog is not good for photos.
I've
He
tried so
poses
hard.
like right before, and then he sees you pick up the camera, and then he drops his head.
And then he's done.
And that's it. And then he lays down, and then he starts drooling,
want anything
and
to
it's
do with
no.
it.
But we have to really understand that your dog's head
Weighs so
weighs
much.
a
Weighs more than my
lot.
camera.
So for that split
God.
second he's able to raise it, that is your
Yeah,
window
that's
of
it.
opportunity.
That's all you got.
Make it happen. It's so hard being him.
It is. Poor guy.
You should have him on the show. You should have him as your next guest.
I know, right in that chair,
Oh my gosh.
or at least a picture. So, Kristin, how do people get in touch with you? Can you tell everyone how to?
Yep, I have a website. It's just KristinHardwick.com. You can find me on Facebook, pretty easy. Kristin Hardwick Photography, or always available by email, info@KristinHardwick.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, giving us some tips.
Oh, yes, it'll be a good season.
Talking with the ladies.
Fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I hope you all at home enjoyed this episode of The Loft here in Nashua. Stay tuned for our next episode. And in the meantime, get out there and enjoy your community.
preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.